The seventh trumpet is one of the most mysterious and debated symbols in biblical prophecy. Found in the book of Revelation, it marks a significant and climactic moment, one that many believers associate with finality, divine intervention, and the end of the age as we know it. Its sounding is said to usher in voices from heaven proclaiming, "The kingdom of the world has become the kingdom of our Lord." Now, as we find ourselves in April 2025, whispers rise in corners of the earth, questions churn in hearts, and signs appear to dance boldly before our eyes. Some wonder, could this be the hour long awaited? Could this be the echo of the trumpet's cry? Is the rapture near? I have seen days stretch like old cloth over the back of time, threadbare and weary, each morning coming with questions too big for mouths too afraid to speak. There are nights when silence feels like a prophecy, and dreams press heavy against the soul like thunder behind a thin wall. And in this hour there is a wind. Not the kind that passes gently through the leaves, but one that comes bearing questions, tugging at the spirit, reminding even the distracted that something is stirring. You see, the earth knows when something is about to change. The trees lean differently. The rivers murmur in lower tones. The animals grow restless. And though man busies himself with his pleasures and his progress, he too feels the weight in the air, an ache, an anticipation, a trembling just beneath the surface. It is not new. It has come before, but now it grows louder. And some say it is the sound of a trumpet unheard by the ears, but undeniable in the soul. The seventh trumpet is not a melody. It is not a tune you hum while you wait. It is a reckoning. A blast that calls not only the faithful but the fallen to attention. It does not speak in whispers. It roars. It declares that time has shifted and the curtain between the visible and invisible world has been torn again. What was hidden is being shown. What was delayed is being released. And those who have eyes to see can feel the pressure building behind the veil. April 2025. This is not just another page in the calendar. It is not just another spring thaw or another season turned over like soil. No, this feels different. This month carries weight. It carries dreams and dread alike. There are stories being told in the skies, with stars trembling in new alignments. The moon seems to pause in her glow as if watching, waiting. And the sun, oh, the sun has lost some of its warmth, casting light that feels more like warning than welcome. There are many who mock. They've heard too many predictions, too many signs that passed without thunder. But prophecy is not always loud. It is patient. It lingers like smoke after a fire, reminding the lungs that something burned here once. And so as April opens its arms, we are asked to watch not with panic, but with perception. For the trumpet is not just a sound, it is a shift. It is a moment where the heavens speak and the earth must listen. And if the seventh trumpet is being prepared, if its breath is being drawn in by the angel's lungs, then those who walk with discernment must rise. This is the hour of awakenings, of realizations, of the kind of dreams that don't leave when the eyes open. The world is not ending, not yet. But something is beginning to end, and something greater is beginning to be born. Look around, look deeper than headlines, beyond governments and grids. Look at the hearts of people, the hunger for something real, the thirst for something eternal. Even in their rebellion there is a cry. Even in their rage there is a longing, and all of it is rising like incense before a throne unseen by most. It is the sound of the souls remembering where they came from and wondering where they're going. You see, rapture is not about escape. It is about encounter. It is not fear that drives it, it is fulfillment. The trumpet sounds not to punish but to proclaim. It is a signal, a summons. And while some will run, others will rise. Some will weep, but others will worship. For they knew, oh yes, they knew that the sound was near. In April 2025, we stand between the pages of prophecy. 1 foot in the promise, 1 foot in the present. The trumpet may not yet have sounded in the skies, but it has sounded in the hearts of those who can no longer pretend this world is enough. They feel it. In their sleep, in their conversations, in their sudden desire to turn off the noise and listen. Something is calling. This world has spun long and far. It has worn crowns and chains. It is built and broken, loved and lied. But in every age there are moments when the eternal brushes the cheek of the temporary and reminds it that the story is bigger than buildings and bank accounts. And this is one of those moments. The seventh trumpet does not apologize for its timing. It does not explain itself. It will not fit into our logic or our schedules, but it will come. Whether this month or the next or the one after that, its sound will carry the weight of heaven and the warning of history. And those who are ready will not be surprised. They will be still, and they will know. So while the world hurries on, let the wise listen. Let the seekers prepare. Let the faithful stand not with fear, but with fire in their bones. For if April 2025 is the hour of the trumpet's breath, then let it find us watching. Let it find us working, weeping, worshiping. Let it find us with oil in our lamps and hope in our hearts. Let it find us ready. There are some moments in life when the ticking of the clock no longer sounds like time passing, but like time warning. The hours don't just pass, they knock. And lately they've been pounding like a stranger at midnight, like a messenger desperate to be heard before the silence takes over. And what is the message? What is this unshakable echo reverberating through April 2025? It is the trembling hint of divine movement. It is the breath of something ancient and holy awakening again. It is the whisper of a trumpet that has not yet sounded in the ears of mortals, but whose vibration has already begun to rattle the bones of the earth. When a trumpet is about to sound, the air changes, the silence shifts, the stillness grows heavy. And though no sound has yet pierced the sky, the soul begins to prepare. Something instinctual rises within the hearts of the faithful, a stirring they cannot explain, a vigilance they did not seek, a trembling they did not cause. It is not fear. No, it is not that. It is reverence. It is that sacred tension between the known and the unknown, between the promise of the eternal and the patience of the now. That is what April carries in its hands. That is the scent in the air, the pressure in the chest, the knowing in the bones. The seventh trumpet, that final divine blast, it is not chaos. It is not panic. It is clarity. It is the voice of heaven declaring that delay is no more. It is not about wrath alone. It is about witness. It is the culmination of cycles, the crowning of covenants, the fulfillment of what prophets longed to see but only touched in shadow. And here we are, walking in the days they foresaw, breathing in the atmosphere they once dreamed of, standing on the edge of events that make time itself shudder. What makes this hour holy is not that it is loud, but that it is real. All across the world things are shifting. Not just politics or economies, not just weather or war, but spirits. Eyes are being opened. Hearts are becoming restless. People who once cared nothing for truth are now searching for it like breath. Children are dreaming dreams too old for their age. Elders are weeping without reason, sensing the closing of a chapter they didn't even know was open. And the earth, oh the earth, she groans. Her mountains shake, her oceans rise, her skies bleed strange colors. She is preparing, just as heaven is preparing. And still the trumpet waits. It waits not because it is unsure, but because heaven has never been rushed by the panic of man. It waits because mercy lingers longer than judgment, because grace always takes the long way home, hoping one more soul will turn before the sound that cannot be unbreaks the sky wide open. That's the sound the world is flirting with. That's the song creation is holding its breath for. But the seventh trumpet is not just for the ear. It's for the soul. It doesn't call flesh alone, it calls destiny. It calls purpose. It calls every hidden seed planted in dark places to rise and stretch toward the light. It is the sound that makes masks fall and motives reveal themselves. It separates the sheep from the goats, the faithful from the false. It brings the eternal into collision with the earthly and demands that every knee respond. This trumpet is not made of brass or silver. It is made of light. It is forged in glory. Its breath is not wind, is spirit. And though it is yet to be sounded in the sky, it is already being heard by those who live with their ears pressed to the heartbeat of God. For them, April is not just a month, it is a message. It is not just a time, it is a turning, a signal, a shimmer at the edge of reality. You must understand, not everyone will hear it. Not everyone will know. For some it will be just another spring, another series of days marked by schedules and screens. But for those who are awake, for those who are seeking, this month is electric. It carries within it a vibration that speaks to everything asleep and says, wake up, get ready, lift up your eyes, your redemption draws near. There will always be scoffers. There will always be critics and cynics who demand proof before they believe. But faith was never meant for the eye alone. It was crafted for the heart. And the heart knows. The heart sees signs even when the sky is still. The heart listens for footsteps on holy ground. And right now that ground is trembling. We are in a time when everything hidden is being exposed, where secrets no longer sleep and truth refuses to be silenced. This is not accidental. This is not coincidence. It is the preparation of a divine declaration. It is the work of the Spirit clearing paths, unlocking doors, gathering those who belong to the promise. Because when the trumpet sounds, there will be no more time to choose, only time to rise or remain. April is an altar, a threshold, a place between what was and what will be. And every hour that passes is pressing us further into a moment we cannot avoid. But that moment is not to be feared, it is to be honored. for it marks the triumph of everything we've waited for, everything we've believed through tears and trials, everything we've whispered to the heavens in our weariness, hoping it would not be in vain. The rapture is not just escape from this world, it is reunion with another. It is not abandonment of the earth, it is ascension to the realm that made it. It is not tragedy, it is transformation, and those who are ready will not be caught off guard. They will be caught up. They will be swept into the sky like whispers carried on the wings of fire. They will not look back, because what is before them will be greater than what they left behind. But readiness does not come through noise, it comes through knowing, through surrender, through the daily dying to what is fake, and the daily reaching for what is real, through the small yeses that build into eternal echoes, through the tears that water seeds of glory, through the lonely prayers whispered when no one sees. That is how we get ready. That is how we prepare for a trumpet that will not give warning, it will give witness. This month, more than ever, the line between the seen and unseen feels thin. Time feels like it's leaning forward. The days feel short, not just in length but in urgency. There's a call in the spirit, a tug, a holy weight that refuses to be ignored. Some call it anxiety, but it's not. It is anticipation, it is preparation, it is alignment. Something is coming, not doom, not destruction, but destiny, glory, fulfillment. And it will not wait for us to be comfortable, it will call us to be ready. Some will say it's just another date, just another prophecy. But those who walk in the Spirit know that dates can become divine appointments. That prophecy is not about being dramatic, it's about being discerning. And when heaven begins to echo through the fabric of time, those who are wise stop what they are doing and listen. In April 2025, we are not spectators. We are participants. We are not waiting on a show. We are standing in the shadow of sacred things. And whether the trumpet sounds this month or not, the atmosphere has already changed. The winds have already shifted. The invitation has already gone out. The wedding feast is being prepared. The oil in our lamps is being tested. Will we be ready? Not in ritual, but in reality? Not in performance, but in posture. Are our hearts tender? Are our ears tuned? Are our eyes watching? Not the world, but the heavens. Not the chaos, but the call. For when the trumpet sounds, it will be final. And there will be no time for second thoughts, only for soaring. This is the hour of decision. The hour of drawing near, not out of fear, but out of faith, not to escape suffering, but to embrace salvation. Because we were not made for the darkness, we were made for the day. We were not formed for fading away, we were fashioned for flight. And the trumpet, when it sounds, will not just summon us, it will reveal us. For in that sound is the unlocking of all that we were meant to be. And so, we move through this month with wonder, with humility, with fire in our bones and light in our eyes. Because we do not know the hour, but we sense the season. We do not know the minute, but we feel the movement. And that is enough. Enough to stay awake. Enough to keep our lamps trimmed. Enough to stay on our knees while others sleep. Enough to live each day like it might be the last on this side and the first on the other. Because when the trumpet sounds, everything will change. Everything. And yet even now, while the world walks forward with its eyes half shut, something ancient is reaching out to touch those who dare to feel. The rhythm of time is no longer steady, it staggers and spins like a dancer overcome with urgency. The days are short not because the sun sets quicker, but because the weight of destiny presses down on every second, on every breath. Those who are attuned to it are not sleeping. They are watching the heavens. They are reading the signs not just in stars, but in the eyes of people, in the way truth and lie are separating like oil and water. For what is the seventh trumpet if not the final call to awaken? Not to the systems of this world, not to the glamour and glimmer of fleeting pleasures, but to eternity itself. It is a call that shakes foundations not only of governments and kingdoms but of hearts and households. It demands that masks fall and shadows flee. And in this call is no compromise. There will be no middle ground, no delayed responses. When that trumpet sings, it will be a line drawn in time, a veil ripped in glory. And there will be some who will say, but we did not know. And yet the signs were always there. The strange weather patterns, the unrest that no army can calm, the sudden shift in conversations, where even the careless begin to speak of meaning. The ache in people's chests when they look at the sky, not understanding why they feel both homesick and hopeful. These are not accidents. These are the prelude to something holy. These are the knocks of heaven on the door of our distractions. People have waited so long for answers that they've stopped asking the right questions. They want timelines and calendars, but they don't want intimacy. They want predictions, but not preparation. They seek forecast, not faith. But the trumpet is not coming for the curious, it is coming for the consecrated. It will not wait for the fearful to find courage. It will call those who have walked in obedience even when they didn't understand. Because that is what faith is. It is walking through fog with fire in your bones. It is trusting the silence when the world is screaming confusion. It is standing still when everything tells you to run. April has not come by chance. It carries a weight that only the Spirit can interpret. While calendars shift and schedules press, this moment is not bound by man's rhythm. It is divine in its design. Everything that could be shaken has started to shake. Relationships, beliefs, nations, systems, nothing is exempt. And through it all, one question rises: are you ready? Not in doctrine, not in debate, but in devotion, in heart, in truth. There are voices rising in the wilderness, crying not for comfort but for clarity. They are not popular, but they are prophetic. They are not polished, but they are powerful. They don't speak what pleases ears, they speak what prepares souls, and those voices are growing louder. They speak of fire, not fame. They call us not to escape the world, but to walk through it with a different posture, with oil in our lamps and light in our gaze. There is a reason why even children are having dreams, why the old are seeing visions again, why the ones long dismissed are now rising with a word in their belly and a flame on their tongue. This is not the hour for spectators. It is not the hour for cynics and critics to sit in comfort while the Spirit moves. This is the hour for those who have waited in the shadows, who have prayed in silence, who have served without applause. They are the ones who feel the trumpet before it sounds. They are the ones who walk differently, not because of fear, but because they've seen something. And what have they seen? They've seen glimpses. They've caught whispers in the midnight prayer, flashes in moments of worship when the veil between this world and the next grew thin. They've walked through fire, not just of trial, but of transformation. And now their steps are steady. Their hearts beat not to the drum of man, but to the pulse of heaven. These are the days when destinies are being unlocked, when callings long buried are rising again like seeds breaking through soil. And it is not because people have become perfect, but because grace is being poured out with urgency. It is not about talent or title, it is about obedience. The trumpet is not impressed with resumes. It listens for the sound of surrender. April is an altar where decisions are made in silence. It is a threshold where heaven leans low and watches the hearts of men. Will they return? Will they recognize the time? Will they lift their heads or keep their eyes buried in the dust of distraction? For though the trumpet has not yet sounded, the invitation has already begun. And every soul that feels the weight of it knows it's time to choose, not tomorrow. Now, those who are wise understand that time is not measured only in clocks and calendars. It is measured in kairos, in divine moments when eternity touches time and demands a response. This is such a moment, and while the trumpet may not yet have filled the skies with sound, it is already filling the hearts of the chosen with urgency. The rapture is not a myth to those who walk with eyes wide open. It is not superstition. It is not metaphor. It is the fulfillment of a promise not built on fear, but on the faithfulness of the one who made time and steps outside of it. The trumpet is his voice announcing the end of delay, and in that sound, time will collapse and the eternal will unfold in a moment. And for those who are ready, there will be no confusion. Their spirits will leap, their souls will sing, for they have been waiting not just for deliverance, but for the bridegroom. They have kept their garments clean, not to be seen by others, but because they remember the covenant. They have stayed awake, not because it was easy, but because they knew what was coming. But for those who mocked, for those who chose delay over devotion, the sound will not bring joy, it will bring regret. Not because they weren't loved, but because they didn't listen. Because they chose comfort over calling, pleasure over purpose, the crowd over the cross. And the trumpet will not pause for their reconsideration. It will move forward like lightning across the sky, final, full and unstoppable. And yet, even now there is mercy. Even now the door is open. Even now April stretches wide her hands, offering a space to return, to prepare to lay down all that hinders and rise into what is holy. Because while the trumpet is coming, the invitation is already here, in the quiet moments, in the unexpected conversations, in the tug at the heart that says something greater is calling you. That tug is not emotionalism. It is eternity. It is the Spirit brooding over the chaos, calling order back into lives that have been scattered by the wind of compromise. It is the Father calling prodigals home, the shepherd seeking the lost, the King preparing the wedding feast. And those who know the voice will not need to be convinced. They will recognize it. They will rise. And as April continues, the signs will become clearer. The pressure will intensify. The weight of the unseen will feel undeniable. And still, many will turn their faces away, numbing themselves with noise. But the trumpet is not deterred by unbelief. It will not grow silent just because some choose not to hear. It will sound, and when it does, everything will shift. There is still time, but not much. There is still space, but it is sacred now. Every conversation could be a commission. Every encounter could be an assignment. Every choice carries eternal weight. The heavens are watching. The angels are poised. And the Spirit is searching for those who will say yes. For those who will trade comfort for calling. For those who will carry the oil even when others mock. And for those who feel the urgency in their bones, who can't shake the sense that something is drawing near, don't silence that voice. Don't ignore that weight. It's not fear. It's invitation. It's alignment. It's a whisper from the edge of eternity saying, it's almost time. And if April 2025 is anything, it is a doorway. A moment to step through with reverence, with readiness, with resolve. So keep watching. Keep listening. Keep your lamp burning, not because you are afraid of missing something, but because you are confident that something beautiful is about to break through the veil. The trumpet is coming not for those who guess its timing, but for those who are found ready when it comes. There is a trembling beneath the surface of our days, something silent but strong, echoing through the chambers of those whose hearts still listen. The world grows louder, yes, but not clearer. It shouts and distracts and dazzles with empty promises. But those with ears tuned to the eternal know that the noise is only a veil, a curtain drawn to hide what is really unfolding. It is not doom that stirs in the air, but destiny. It is not despair, but decision. For the sound that is approaching, the sound of the 7th trumpet, is not a warning alone. It is a calling. It is a declaration that time as we know it is beginning to fold, and the realm we have spoken of only in hushed prayers and sacred songs is preparing to break through. There is a hush now in heaven, a breath held by eternity, as if all creation is leaning closer, peering over the edge of time, waiting for the moment when the divine voice will break the silence and shift the heavens. And while many walk the streets unaware, busy with burdens, lost in longing, there are others fewer in number but mighty in spirit who sense the nearing of something sacred. They feel it in their sleep, in the way the wind brushes against their skin, in the way scripture no longer reads like mere ink but like fire dancing off the page. It is as though everything is aligning, as though the very stars are standing at attention. These are not fantasies of a fearful mind. These are the realities of a watchful soul, because those who walk closely with the divine do not merely survive time, they interpret it. They do not wait for headlines to tell them what to feel. They move by the whisper of the Spirit, by the pulse of prophecy. And right now, that pulse is quickening. The heartbeat of heaven is racing, and it is asking us, will you keep pace? Some say they've heard of this trumpet all their lives, and still it has not sounded. But what they forget is that mercy has been stretching time like a mother holding open the door for a lost child. Grace has kept the trumpet silent, but only for a season. And every season has its end. April is not just a month. It is a messenger. It stands as a threshold between what has been and what must now come. The sky is shifting. The earth groans. The spirit realm stirs. And the question is not whether the trumpet will sound, but whether you will recognize the sound when it does. There will be no time to prepare once the sound is heard. Preparation is now. Oil is gathered in private. Holiness is cultivated in the quiet. You can't borrow faith when the sky splits open. You can't purchase righteousness in a moment of reckoning. The trumpet does not announce the time to begin the race. It declares that the race is over. And the moment it sounds, the division is made plain. Not between good and bad in human eyes, but between surrendered and unsurrendered. Between those who have truly yielded and those who have simply blended in. There will be those caught in shock, not because they weren't warned, but because they chose to delay. They traded watchfulness for weariness. They lost their sense of urgency in the comfort of routine. But the Spirit never stopped speaking. The signs never ceased. And now, as the time draws near, the call grows louder, not in volume, but in presence. It presses into your spirit at unexpected hours. It wraps around your thoughts even in crowded rooms. It tugs at your attention while others are laughing. It is the voice of the coming glory whispering, awaken. Prepare. Be found ready. The rapture is not a fairy tale. It is not a scare tactic. It is the fulfillment of a divine romance where the bridegroom returns for the bride he loves. It is the harvest of centuries of prayers, of tears sown in secret, of sacrifices made in obscurity. It is the reward for those who refused to bow to Babylon, who walked the narrow road even when it was lonely, who clung to hope when hope was hard to find. And the trumpet will honor them. It will lift them. It will reveal who they always were beneath the disguise of flesh and frailty. And when that moment comes, the world will not be able to ignore it. The skies will declare what pulpits couldn't always articulate. The heavens will scream with light. The boundaries of natural law will melt under the weight of glory. And yet, for the ones who knew it was coming, there will be no fear, only awe, only joy, only the sweet taste of home. After a long and weary journey, they won't need to ask what is happening. Their spirits will know they've been waiting for this all their lives. But until then, the urgency remains. Not anxiety, not panic, but urgency, the holy kind, the kind that doesn't rush but moves with purpose, the kind that doesn't fear the night because it's carrying the light, the kind that wakes you up in the middle of the night, not because you're afraid, but because your spirit knows it's time to pray. It's time to prepare. It's time to let go of every weight, every distraction, every compromise that clouds the vision of eternity. You see, the trumpet doesn't just call us to be taken, it calls us to become fully surrendered, fully alive, fully His. It calls us to align with heaven in such a way that the world sees the difference and begins to hunger for the same. It calls us to walk as ambassadors of another realm, not as prisoners of this one. Because the rapture is not just the escape of the faithful, it is the revelation of a promise kept. And those who live like they believe it are already tasting heaven. So ask yourself, not with fear, but with honesty, are you living like someone who hears the trumpet rehearsing? Are you walking with eyes lifted, heart open, spirit awake? Or have you grown sleepy beneath the lullaby of culture? The trumpet will not sound with warning, it will sound with finality. And when it does, time will surrender to eternity. There will be no more delays, no more chances, only the fruit of choices already made. And while the earth trembles under the weight of its own rebellion, while nations rise and fall, while chaos masquerades as normalcy, the people of the Spirit must rise higher. They must anchor not in systems but in the unseen. They must tune their lives to the melody of the coming King. And they must do it now. Because April may be the gate. It may be the hinge on which history turns. And if that is true, then every moment wasted in doubt is a moment stolen from destiny. The world is not waiting for another theory. It's waiting for truth lived out loud. The time for half-hearted religion is over. The time for shallow belief has ended. The trumpet does not sound for those who visited the faith, it sounds for those who were married to it, who wore it in their bones, who breathed it in their sorrows, who clung to it when it cost everything. The trumpet is the voice of covenant fulfilled. Even creation is watching. The mountains feel it. The oceans sense it. The birds sing with strange urgency. The moon moves with prophetic rhythm. Everything in creation is groaning not with despair but with hope. Hope that the children of light will arise. Hope that the veil will soon be torn forever. Hope that the King will soon return to claim what has always been his. And so the trumpet waits not for permission but for the appointed second. This is not myth. This is mystery revealed. This is the slow unfolding of eternity's plan. And you have been chosen to live in these days not by accident, not by chance, but by divine design. There is something on your life that cannot be silenced. There is a reason you've been stirred, why you've wept when no one else understood, why your heart beats differently when truth is spoken. It is because the trumpet is already speaking inside you. It is shaping you before it summons you. So now is not the time to fear. Now is the time to burn. With love that is real, with truth that is costly, with faith that refuses to bow. The world is spinning fast toward its conclusion, and yet, for those with oil in their lamps, this is not the end. This is the beginning of everything promised. This is the hour where darkness cannot extinguish light. This is the moment when the watchers will be rewarded. And so you must stay ready, not out of dread, but out of desire. Desire to be found faithful. Desire to be counted among the burning ones. Desire to look into the eyes of glory and know you didn't waste your chance to live fully awake. The trumpet will sound and the sky will answer. The earth will yield. The chosen will rise. And until that day, let your every breath be preparation. Let your every step be surrender. Let your every word be a witness. Because the time is nearer than it's ever been. And the trumpet is already drawing breath. So now, beloved, the question is no longer if, but when. And deeper still, will you be ready? The sound of the trumpet is not just a moment in time, but a mirror to the soul. It reflects the truth of your walk, the depth of your devotion, the sincerity of your surrender. The days are not promised, but purpose is. Each second is dripping with eternity. You are not here by accident, not hearing this by coincidence. The signs are not just happening around you, they are calling out to you. The heavens are rehearsing their final anthem, and the Spirit is tugging at the veil, inviting you in before it is drawn forever. This is not the time to look back, to grow lukewarm, or to blend in. This is the time to burn brighter, to live louder, to love deeper. Let your life be a signal fire that says, I heard the sound before it came, I believed before it appeared. For when the trumpet sounds, only those who prepared in silence will rise in glory. So live now as if the sky could open at any moment, because one day soon it will. And may you be found ready when it does.